Hey guys, today we have Pramod and he is having total 13 year of experience in Java, Spring Boot and microservices domain. And those who want to give same free mock interview, please fill out the form below in the description. So now let's get started. Hey, hello Pramod, how are you?
Yeah, hello, I'm good.
Shall we start?
Sure.
Okay. So Pramod, can you please introduce you and your recent project in brief?
Yeah. I have 13 plus experience working with
Mm-hmm.
IBM, and I have uh, working with the client for Indian
Mm-hmm.
clients where
Mm-hmm.
it's top bank in India, and where we have the project for digitalization of that complete retail banking application. So from
Mm-hmm.
scratch, we have developed microservices based on Java Spring Boot microservices and Kafka as a synchronous communication for microservices,
Okay.
and Cassandra as a database to store the database and get the data. And
Okay.
we have the OpenShift for deployments.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so can you tell me some challenges that you guys face while developing the microservice project from scratch?
Yeah, while we are developing, we face some challenges to define our proper contract between the API we have
Mm-hmm.
defined, and then we have the user interfaces which they are going to use. Like we have the mobile
Mm-hmm.
application, and then we have our web application. So we have challenges
Okay.
to when we
And
started,
also,
like
Pramod,
how
tell
we
me
have
how
to
did you
define the
resolve those challenges?
yeah. With the resolution, we properly defined our boundary conditions, and then
Mm-hmm.
for every microservices we are planning, and then we design like some use that design pattern. Like we have used the
Mm-hmm.
design pattern like BFF and secure design patterns in microservices to decouple the microservices and better use of that reusability of the
Mm-hmm.
microservices. So like we have the business layer, BFF layer, and then proxy
Mm-hmm.
layers. We have divided in three layers, and we are in
Mm-hmm.
BFF layer for mobile and web application.
Okay.
We have used BFF layer. For business layer, we
Mm-hmm.
have the secure design pattern where we have used the command query pattern to segregate the
Mm-hmm.
data, our loads, where we have
Mm-hmm.
the more loads like query, we design the query
Mm-hmm.
where we the commands, where we have the like business validation logics we have written, and
Okay.
then we have
Okay.
used the asynchronous communication for the command
Mm-hmm.
layer.
Okay. So,
Kafka.
Pramod, can you explain how your team manages deployments and CI/CD in your current project?
Yeah, so we have the GitLab as our code source code repository.
Mm-hmm.
Once we develop the code, we merge our code to the main branch, and then from
Mm-hmm.
main branch, the CI/CD pipeline start. That we have the Tecton pipeline, which
Mm-hmm.
basically takes our source code and build and then scan it completely
Mm-hmm.
for the test coverage, all those things, and then
Okay.
deploy the using the QA repository. It's a deploy that uh, image to the and then image to QA, and then from pulling the image, it's deployed our application to the OpenShift.
Okay. Okay. Got it. What role do you play in code reviews and architectural designs?
Code review, like we have the four member of team, so
Mm-hmm.
we usually review the code while they develop anything, and then they raise the merge PR, and
Mm-hmm.
we review the code if you have any difficult issue with that code, like they have not used the proper
Mm-hmm.
Java methods, they have not used the utilize the Java resources like collection, all those things properly. We
Mm-hmm.
raise to that in PR, we raise to comment, and then they fix that, and then we fix that. And for architectural role, we have like our senior architect who have they so while he's developing like this boundary conditions, we said like for
Mm-hmm.
microservices design and microservice pod will we involve, and then we give our input to them, and then based
Mm-hmm.
on their suggestion we develop the applications.
Okay. Okay. Nice. Have you worked with event-driven architecture?
Yeah, correct. So we are using that event-driven architecture for this microservices communication. So in I said like we have the
Mm-hmm.
command pattern where number of process we need to follow. Like once for banking we have like fixed deposit and recovery. Once if
Mm-hmm.
someone opened the fixed deposit, event triggers to open the fixed deposit. Then once once FD completes, we send mail message to the users to notify that your FD got opened with this is something amount they have entered that.
Okay. Okay. Uh, Guys, I would like to share one important thing with you. Actually, we had launched complete interview preparation material structure step by step by myself, expert and MNC's interviews. And the best part is that now no one need to go anywhere else to prepare interviews. There is a 99% chance that interviewers will ask questions from this material. So basically, it contains a lot of material categorized by experience levels. Means each experience level has different section of material with all possible interview question and answers for Java, Spring Framework, Maven, Gate, Spring Boot, Spring Security, Spring Data, JPA, Kafka, microservices, Java coding questions, Stream API coding questions, and many more. I have provided the link to get this in the below description. And if someone need this material plus two real enterprise client projects for reference with video recorded sessions plus one-on-one lifetime doubt sessions and referrals to the big MNCs like TCS, Infosys, Twilight, then they should check the interview preparation kit. I will provide the link for this as well in the description below. So now moving to our interview. Guys, before moving to our interview, I would like to highlight one important thing. Recently, Pramod purchased our interview preparation kit, and that kit is very, very helpful for him. So, Pramod, can you please give some reviews if...
Yes, sir. Sure, it's at the very concise content to prepare for interviews, and then it's not much descriptive, so we can focus only the important questions, and we can
Mhm,
secure our time to particular mainly focus on the all the domains and then
mhm,
important questions for interview. So which is very helpful to uh,
okay.
in less time you can prepare and well and then give the proper interview. Uh, your and your concepts also will be become good.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Pramod. So, yes, guys, moving to our interview. So, Pramod, can you explain Java memory model and how it works?
Yeah, so like when Java was created, so in if you go with the site like C, C++, there
Mm-hmm,
was the memory you see like the pointer and all this. So in while
mm-hmm,
creating the Java only, they have taken the Java memory, they have properly designed the memory point, like
mm-hmm.
we have the proper garbage collection. Which size while you're creating the JVM also we can define the max memory size, min memory size. And then when your Java object created, it's properly like divided in a heap memory and stack memory. It's look at the proper memory location and give that to space.
What's
So it's a less
okay, okay.
overburden of the
Mm-hmm.
yeah less overburden of the Java developer to handling the memory.
Okay, okay. What's the difference between young generation and old generation?
Like
Young
it's
generation GC
how
and old generation GC.
I'm not much sure about that.
Okay, so basically, short-lived objects we call short-lived objects as young generation GC and long-lived objects as old generation GC. Okay. Anyways, it's fine. Moving ahead. What's the difference between hash map, concurrent hash map, and collections dot synchronized map? Promote.
Yeah. So if you go that hash map, it's not synchronized. Well,
Mm-hmm.
so if you have multiple threads, so the multiple thread will be can use that same object uh, properly map. And
Mm-hmm.
if you go the concurrent hash map, so basically it's a uh, advanced level of map.
Okay.
We have the for concurrency they have used the set. So every map is divided in 16 buckets and 16 buckets for every segment. So when the multiple threads is
Mm-hmm.
used, so it's only lock one segments, not the but one bucket, not the, all the 16 buckets. So we have the
Mm-hmm.
remaining 15 buckets for free to use multiple threads. They can use that. But if you
Mm-hmm.
go with that like synchronized hash map, where once you use the create the synchronized like more less responsive performance
Mm-hmm.
will be less, but if you concurrent your performance will be improved and you can utilize the concurrent as map in
Mm-hmm.
multi-thread environment. So if while you are going to multi-thread environment, we can use that concurrency as map.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, it is
Uh,
useful to get well performance in multi-thread environment also.
mm-hmm. Got it. Got it. Okay. So how would you design a thread safe caching mechanism?
Thread safe.
Caching mechanism.
Yeah, like we use basically based on our requirement how we have like using the synchronized keyword we have the atomic in variables we use that and then we basically based on our requirement how we are storing the data, we design that concurrency. Like Java 5, you have the multiple, like this
Mm-hmm.
atomic variables are there, and then synchronize uh, like has mapping we have where we put the
Mm-hmm.
value, and then we use that this compatible feature, and to if you have the multiple records to fetch the data using from supplier, we use that it creates that multi-threaded based caching mechanism.
Okay. Got it. Moving ahead, can you tell me the uses of volatile, synchronize, and rent lock?
Yeah. So volatile variable, like it's a special uh, variable which once you create that, it will be available to all the threads in
Mm-hmm.
multi-threaded environment to fetch the data. But
Mm-hmm.
it's like read write happens before. So
Mm-hmm.
every write, if you're going to read and write, so first goes to preference to the write only, not read.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a log that, and every threads can be use the same variable.
Okay.
And for synchronize like it's a modifier to some methods are synchronized block where
Mm-hmm.
one thread only added, one thread can access that particular object or variable.
Okay. Okay. Uh, how does the Spring Boot auto configuration work internally, Pramod?
Can you go ahead more?
How does the Spring Boot auto configuration work internally?
Yeah. So basically, what property you define that in your
Mm-hmm.
YML file or properties file, based on that,
Mm-hmm.
and you have given the starter based on the
Mm-hmm.
property you define. It's basically take the all the property, and then it's auto configure all the objects which is
Mm-hmm.
available. Like suppose you are going to the Spring Web Strater, you have used that, then it will
Mm-hmm.
be automatically create the view resolver and then handler mapping. This object will be auto configured. So we are
Mm-hmm.
not going to suppose if our database we are going to like JPA, so it will be automatically configure your objects and it will be available. We're not going to read write again anything.
Okay. Uh, can you tell me what are the starters and how do they simplify our development?
Yeah, starter are nothing but like club of
Mm-hmm.
dependencies. Like we have suppose for if we're going to Spring Web applications, so we need Spring Core, Spring
Mm-hmm.
MVC, and these jar we have to give. And but if you're going to Spring Starter, you have to just give the Spring Boot Starter. It
Mm-hmm.
takes that all the dependency and auto configure. So basically, if we are not here going to compatible search the all the jar required for the particular
Mm-hmm.
web applications, it's automatically configured. You just need to give the this, like we have the multiple for database API, we have that for Kafka, we have the starter. All this thing
Mm-hmm.
dependency, you can just give the starter and it will take the required dependency and it will available to use that.
Mm-hmm. Got it. How do you implement cross-cutting concerns?
Like we have the cross cutting like logging we have, and then we have the
Mm-hmm.
uh, like multiple exception handling. We have the like we have used the like address controller device, and then for logging we have used that SLFOs logging. All these things we
Mm-hmm.
cross cutting we have used that in our project to manage that. We have basically created a framework where all the this cross cutting concern we have modelized as a library, and everyone can use that same
Mm-hmm.
things. So no need to write everyone to write this cross cutting concerns.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Have you implemented custom annotations, promote or aspects?
Yeah, custom innovations we have used that
Where?
uh, like we have some validation of schema. So validating the
Mm-hmm.
schema, we have designed the custom uh, annotation where we have built
Mm-hmm.
our logic to when we have, someone is entering the name, it should be like this much of character. Someone email is this much of character. All those things using the schema validation, we have managed that using the
Okay.
custom function.
Okay. Okay. So how do you manage batch inserts and updates in JPA?
Like uh, we basically Spring Beach provide the like once you go with the Spring Batch, it's provide the
Mm-hmm.
number of interfaces using that. you can define your batch insert, batch update statements using the item reader and file reader, all those things. There
Mm-hmm.
things are there. Based on your requirement, you can go and write the logic.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Moving ahead, what is a design pattern and why are they very, very important with respect to our projects?
Yeah, design pattern is nothing but like set of rules
Mm-hmm.
how you're going to create, how you're so once you follow the sum of design pattern, it's predefined, like someone have based on tested in and
Mm-hmm.
logic is implemented that design pattern. You not need to go think in every aspect of that logic once again. So you just follow that principle and then you can go ahead, like we have single design pattern, BFF design pattern, security design patterns, like we have
Mm-hmm.
database design pattern for microservices. So many patterns are there. Like it's a well and designed and tested. So you not need to not worry about that how it will be had. So in production free environment, you can create that using the proper following the design patterns rule.
Okay. Can you explain singleton pattern and how can we implement it?
Yeah. So singleton design pattern is like when it's required only one, you want to create only one object and
Mm-hmm.
utilize in your whole application. So
Mm-hmm.
we can use the singleton design pattern, like we have the database pooling, the database connection, all those things where we can
Mm-hmm.
utilize the singleton design pattern. So it says like you create a private constructor. So only one method can create that object, and you
Mm-hmm.
just define a synchronized method to only one object can be created one time, and then check that if object is already available, you just
Mm-hmm.
return that object. If your object is not available, then only you create that new object. And using this private constructor and then factory method, you can create a constructor method. Factory singleton design
Mm-hmm.
pattern method, where once you using that factory method only, we will design create object. So it will always check that object is available or not, and then
Mm-hmm.
ensure that only one object is created in memory, and it
Okay, okay.
implies that. Yeah.
Okay. So can you explain builder pattern, prototype pattern, and adapter pattern? Do you know?
Yeah. So builder pattern, like we basically use when we have that like create some building, like suppose you want to create some sandwiches.
Mm-hmm.
So every people have a different flavor want to create that. So based on your method, you can create that, and then while you creating object, you just set the value what type of builder you want to create that.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that prototype, I'm not much aware about that.
Okay, okay. Yeah, it's fine then. Moving ahead, how do you configure JWT based authentication in Spring Boot?
Not much aware. In our application, basically we have used some other applications where
So how you guys are using in your application?
uh, JWT validation. Yeah. So basically, in our case, some third, like we have another identity management system.
Mm-hmm.
JWT tokens, and it's a if valid, we are allowed to communicate the microservices to him. So like we have managed using the third party in our
Mm-hmm.
case.
Okay, okay. And what about securing REST APIs?
Yeah. So in our every like we had, I said like I created BFF layer. So in every BFF layer, we basically check that JWT taken is proper, and then
Mm-hmm.
we basically handle that uh, while user validation done on the BFF layer only, and then internal services. So based on that, they request that. So using the JWT only, we secure our waste points.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, got it. Moving ahead, how do you handle distributed transactions?
Yeah, for distributed transactions, we have used that some mechanism to while sending someone request, every request will have that
Mm-hmm.
some GT ID and then transaction ID and then
Mm-hmm.
particular user details to.
Mm-hmm.
So we every microservice we send in via header GTID,
Mm-hmm.
read GTID, and then we store. We have the define properly define that Kafka sorry login design login pattern. So we read from the and then every microservice we write that properly log while writing that this logging
Mm-hmm.
pattern trace ID. Basically, we set trace ID, and every mac use the trace ID, and then it's print that, and then while our Grafana or ELK tool, they are basically
Mm-hmm.
using the trace ID, we can search the complete trace from BFF to service to proxy, and then downstream while you're sending request, getting response, and how much time it's
Mm-hmm.
taken there.
Mm. Okay.
Yeah.
So how can we implement API versioning, Pramod?
Yeah, API versioning like we have used also. So like once you design your application, like V1 and you design some, you have given the request response and
Mm-hmm.
then some logic are there. But in the future, if you suppose your logic got changed, so we
Mm-hmm.
write another V2 version of API request same, and then we modified that. So at the same times, we handle two V1, V2 both request because of this versioning. It supports both version while the user are getting upgraded with that using that V2 service microservices.
Okay. Okay. So as we were discussing about distributing transaction and all, right? So my question is, how do you ensure consistency in a distributed setup?
So for distribution, and we have used MDC. So MDC supports like you have the multi-board distributed. So it's
Mm-hmm.
basically while multi-thread environment context switching happens. So like it's consistent. You put the your trace ID in MDC and then
Mm-hmm.
read from the MDC. So it's provide the consistency of the
Mm.
distributed system also.
Okay. We can also use Saga patterns, right?
Yeah.
Here we can use idempotency, distributed locks, right? Okay,
Yeah.
so tell me one thing. I mean, describe a downtime issue you have faced in your career and how did you diagnose it?
Like we have some third party systems, so where
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it goes down like in EOT environment and other one basically use the sandbox. But for production, we use some
Mm-hmm.
fallback mechanism. If suppose we have that our database and then actual request response coming from some other side. So basically, we store some data and then
Mm-hmm.
we if some service is not available, so basically we show some stale data to user to consistent our application. But
Mm-hmm.
once services are stored, we show that proper data. By
Mm-hmm.
using that proper this fallback and mechanism, we have managed that.
Got it. Okay, so tell me what build tools do you use nowadays or in your current project and why?
So in our current project, we have the Maven build tool we are using.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Mm-hmm.
basically it's a
Okay.
very performance and supports a very high level of logging and all those things, managing the
Mm-hmm.
properly, downloading the dependency. We have that our own Nexus sub repository where it's download that all the dependency and manage that
Mm-hmm.
while upgrading also in Nexus repository. We have used that Maven and it's worked very well. Where it
Mm-hmm.
supports like we can give the private repository also it's not always to go the Maven Central repository to get the jar. We our own Nexus repository where we upload get the download the repository and it's worked very well.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And also, tell me, how do you manage dependencies in a large project?
Uh, we basically create the BOM file. So
Okay.
basically in BOM file we give the proper all the uh,
Mm-hmm.
property for that particular version. Like suppose which Spring Boot version we are supporting, which database version we are supporting, which Kafka
Mm-hmm.
version we are supporting. Then we
Mm-hmm.
basically create the Spring BOM file and then utilizing the Spring BOM we BOM file we create our project. So once you have any changes, you just go and update the BOM file and it will reflect all the microservices.
Mm-hmm. Okay, got it. Uh, what strategies do you follow for blue, green, or canary deployments?
So well, we follow this blue-green deployment. So basically,
Okay.
uh, so what is that? Once it's deploy both the services, and then when it have to spin up the
Mm-hmm.
new microservice, it's a downtime. So while building the microservices, the pipeline, all those things, it's not like it affect that which is microservice running. It just takes a while a seconds. We have used cloud native methodology also to this
Mm-hmm.
big blue green. So once we have the microservice ready, and then only we stop that old microservice and start with the new microservice.
Mm,
Yeah.
okay, okay, got it. And don't you know about can we deployments, where we
Not yet.
gradually roll out switching weighted routing? Okay, it's
Not,
fine.
not, not.
Can you please tell your experience with the Docker Kubernetes?
Yeah, in my application also we have that to use the this OpenShift, which is nothing but a
Mm-hmm.
Kubernetes wrapper. So where
Mm-hmm.
we have the Red Hat support for this OpenShift. So basically we
Mm-hmm.
build our images and then we give the property and we have used like the Red Hat QA,
Mm-hmm.
where basically we using that images we deploy in our multiple environments. Once we create the environment for other environment like Dev, SIT, UAT and release
Mm-hmm.
environment, we uh, support the same image and then we deploy that. We not to go to write again, building that same code again. So using
Mm-hmm.
this Docker and Kubernetes supports like just within fraction of seconds, you can promote the raw services from that dev to SIT to release. You can, it's very
Mm-hmm.
quick to define that.
Okay.
And it's managed also for like you have that load increases, then you can use the same image, you can increase the
Mm-hmm.
number of instances, all those is of microservices
Okay.
will handle the loads.
Mm. Also, tell me how do you handle rollbacks?
Yeah, while you creating anything like microservices, we create a
Mm-hmm.
rollback plan also to if something went wrong, we have to roll
Mm-hmm.
back. Then we give the properly old image ID and all those things. So because of this using the role Docker and Kubernetes, right? It supports like within fraction of second, just go with it. If something is new, not
Mm-hmm.
work, then you can go with the old image ID and within fraction of second, you can start services again.
Mm. Correct, correct. Okay, so Pramod, moving ahead, tell me how do you mentor your junior developers?
Yeah, like we mentor our junior developer, we see that what they are working, how they are working. If suppose
Mm-hmm.
something they are not in good, we ask them to go and read the articles or read that,
Mm-hmm.
complete your clear, have this concept. So while developing, while we merging the PR, we basically we see that how the developer have written the logic, all those things. So we get the
Mm-hmm.
idea and then we guide them to go and clear the concept. Your concept, this concept, not very much of that.
Mm-hmm.
You have to come like, and the new, if while coming the new technology, also we guide them. We give them some mentor sessions to like come up with that technology like
Mm-hmm.
every Friday, and we give the 1 hour session to one person take that one topic, and then he give the
Mm-hmm.
some guidance to the team. So everyone will become the same pace and then work with the well in team.
Correct, correct. Okay, so tell me a time when you disagreed with the tech decisions and how did you handle that?
Yeah, there are some several situations comes like when we uh,
Mm-hmm.
disagree with that situation. Like in banking allocation, you go with like balances is very critical things. So while developing the any microservice that we first focus on how we are giving response, which is basically very critical to user and which is not critical to user. And then
Mm-hmm.
while someone give the requirement, we focus on that, and then we if something is not that as per the current scenario, if user are
Mm-hmm.
going to see that, right? So we disagree the situation, and then we propose another solution how we can manage that things. So user will not be impacted, but will be less effect on that.
Mm. Okay, okay, got it. Tell me the recent architectural designs or redesigns that you have led.
Yeah. So in our because of this, uh, we are developing that digitalization of the Microsoft,
Mm-hmm.
number of microservices or more, and then different layer were there, like different. So we have but like design our microservices to different layer to divide
Mm-hmm.
uh, based on the loads also, and then different downstream system of the system, right? We
Mm-hmm.
layered that architecture and we
Mm-hmm.
design like using the and the beef of design pattern, this architectural design, and then we have used CQRS design pattern mostly. So because it's give that more performance, because
Mm-hmm.
some banking lesson people will come for create one time account, but it will come daily to create see that accounts statement, many things, right?
Mm-hmm.
So where we have the read queries more and write query less. So we, while creating the applications, we focus on that, which will be more like our request will be coming, it's read side, right side, and then
Mm-hmm.
we have designed our microservices, which is really
Mm-hmm.
very well performance. nature.
Okay, got it. Can you tell me how do you balance delivery pressure with code quality?
Uh, can you repeat again?
Uh, how do you balance delivery pressure with code quality?
Yeah, it's a
Of
very
Mhm.
critical things like, but basically we have uh, guided our team. We have designed that some patterns. While you're
Mhm.
going to create the code only, you just follow the some our rules, and we have given some uh, definition of that how you are going to create, how you are we have well prepared, so it's become the more suitable while developer is writing the
Mhm.
code. So it's less cumbersome, but like we while you're reviewing the PR, so for review we give their comments properly comments, so they can understand, then they can write the code properly. So our delivery is unimpacted.
Okay, got it. Okay, so moving ahead, Pramod, now I would like to share some coding questions to you. Can you please share your screen? Then we'll start and open any editor.
Okay.
Mhm. Okay, so the first question is find the top 10 frequent words in a large text file efficiently. So, did you get my question right?
Yeah. So top 10 frequent words in the file, right?
Hmm.
So we can use that stream of Java 8.
Okay, yes, please go
Uh,
ahead.
and while writing that, like we basically give that
It's up to you. You could use Stream API, or if you don't want, then it's up to you.
we can use that I think stream API will support. So
Hmm.
basically create a map where you have that uh, number of uh, basically the words which are more coming, and then count
Hmm.
that number with that using the grouping variables. You can use that
Hmm.
a grouping of using the function identity and that grouping with that number of characters, and then
Hmm.
number of times they increase appear in our documents. And then
Hmm.
using that like sort mechanism, we just based on we can sort with that like top 10. We using the in the stream also they have given the limit. Using the stream limit words, limit methods, you can limit to 10, and with that all the top 10 our
Hmm.
words will become which is available in frequent, which number of more characters more times
Hmm.
frequently came using the counts, we can show that.
Okay. Okay, so that's correct. But what if I'll give you a file path?
Yeah, using the file path also, like using the NIO library, we can by
Hmm.
reading that you properly read the file.
Hmm.
And again, I think that they're also using the stream will be support by using parallel
Hmm.
stream. You can, because you said like it's a huge file, right? So using
Hmm.
stream processing, you can manage that well performance.
Okay, okay. So, do you know producer consumer system, and would you be able to write producer consumer system in Java?
Yes,
So, how
like
can we write that?
uh, basically in our if you go more than Java 8, like we have the blocking queue,
Mm-hmm.
blocking queue. Using the blocking queue, uh,
Mm-hmm.
create a blocking queue, and suppose you have some blocking queue. Uh, suppose we create a new array blocking queue,
Mm-hmm.
and we create a producer,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and pass the same blocking queue.
Okay, Pramod. So I
Yeah.
understood
Yeah.
what you
So
are.
basically, create a
Mhm.
blocking queue and pass the same in producer
Mhm.
constructor and consume constructor. So basically, blocking queue provides the taken poll and pop methods. Using that, you can create that. So basically, it's ensure that our producer
Mhm.
once it's a queue is empty, right? You can manage that.
Mhm.
Not consume that. If a queue is available, then we can take that, consume that.
Okay. Okay. So my another question is, would you be able to write a method to flatten a deeply nested JSON object?
Deep index is JSON objects like.
Mhm.
Uh, we can use that this our flat map. So basically flat map, uh,
Mhm.
basically it's nested, how your nested object is there, right? So it's
Mhm.
map, suppose you have the some JSON object and you want to map to some other, using the
Mhm.
map and flat map you can convert to that another JSON object, or your
Okay.
particular object which you want to convert that. Using
Mhm.
flat map you can iterate that every object, and then using the iteration you create
Mhm.
that another variable, and that using that
Okay.
another lambda expression you can manage to that, get that. Yeah.
Okay. So, Pramod, I don't know whether your approach is correct or not, but what I know is we could use here a recursion method, flatten method, right? And we will be calling the flatten method, and by passing the each objects inside the object, something like that we could do. Yeah, definitely. I'll see the flat
Okay.
map way of
Yeah.
things, right? Okay. Yeah. Okay, Pramod. So it's done from my end.